You cannot change the fact that God created men to be visually drawn to a woman's body.
Hi, and welcome to or back to my channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions about whatever catches my attention. I'm Kit, and today we'll be looking at the Bible Chicks, aka Taylor Alesia, video, Why Wearing a Bra Matters. I have to admit, I was not expecting this. At all, actually. Not the video itself, and certainly not her conclusion. In retrospect, I shouldn't be surprised that Taylor made this video. Yes, one of her favorite things to do is declare things demonic, but modesty is her second favorite topic. Bras, though, that's very specific. And the reason we're talking about this is because, well, Sydney Sweeney apparently wore a sheer dress and Kanye West's girlfriend appeared completely nude, and Taylor is concerned about how we got here. Because clothes suck, because people like to push the envelope, because people want to flaunt what they've got, or it's demons. Are we going to do demons again? Probably.
And I wanted to talk about this because there is an entire generation of girls that are growing up believing that leaving the house without a bra on in tight clothing is invigorating. And no, they may not be going as far as wearing see-through shirts with no bra like Sydney Sweeney, but they are still similarly choosing to ditch their bras and putting the shape of their bare breasts on display for anyone they may come in contact with.
I have so much to say. First, I love the ominous music that starts when Taylor intones, "There are a generation of girls." Very subtle. And is she serious? It's not enough to wear a shirt. Now you also must wear a bra under the shirt, otherwise you're leaving everything on display. You're still wearing a shirt. And honestly, I've never noticed if someone is wearing a bra or not, which makes me wonder how much someone has to be staring in order to tell.
Which is why there is such a cultural divide over Sydney Sweeney's dress, because many find this to be acceptable, being it's not far off from the societal norms we now have in place. And so many young girls are being fed this narrative about ditching their bras. They are told it's comfortable, you shouldn't have to wear one, every other girl isn't wearing one, so why should you?
No one has to tell girls that. They already know. The novelty of bra wearing wears off pretty quick. However, there are times when it's more comfortable to wear a bra, but that decision should be left to the person who will be wearing the bra and not.
And if men notice and have any sort of reaction, the response is often, that's their problem, my body, my choice.
Yes. If men take issue with the fact that a woman isn't wearing a bra, that is their problem, and again, how closely are they looking to be able to tell?
But that's really what is at the heart of this, right? It's that showing more equals freedom. A girl choosing not to wear a bra isn't packaged as immodest, but as empowering.
Yes, being able to decide if you wear a bra or not is empowering, and this has nothing to do with modesty, but it does fall into the modesty trap, which we'll get to in a minute. Taylor talks about the no bra movement. She's not a fan, I'm sure we're all surprised, and she is very upset that shame has basically disappeared from our culture. Of all the things to want people to be shamed about, I can't believe Taylor chose not wearing a bra. And as if things couldn't get any weirder,
I'm sure you've taken notice to the fact that many Christians believe we're living in the end of times. And if that's so, it's almost poetic because it's almost like we have come full circle back to the garden.
Yes. Taylor does go on to talk about how Adam and Eve were naked and ashamed, and how, once they were aware of their shame, they found clothing, which is apparently a testament to how our bodies are sacred, which doesn't make any sense. So before they knew nudity was sinful, their bodies weren't sacred? What? Anyway.
And the more we see our world drift from God's truth and the awareness of sin in this world, the more confused the world becomes about the sacredness of our bodies and covering our bodies.
The bodies are covered though. Taylor just thinks they need to be covered more, which again, modesty trap.
And it's heartbreaking because what the enemy packaged as empowerment for women has done the complete opposite. The female body is beautiful, but it also contains parts that are deeply intimate. Parts of us that were designed by God for intimacy, our intimate parts. You cannot change the fact that God created men to be visually drawn to a woman's body. That isn't perversion, it's purpose. So when we deliberately put our intimate parts on display, we can't pretend it affects no one. If you ask most men if they like when women don't wear bras, the answer is going to be a resounding yes. Because God created men with the desire to be drawn to a woman's breast.
And that is the problem. It doesn't matter how a woman feels about wearing a bra, but about how men react to it. Never mind the fact that if you don't like what you're seeing, or if you do like what you're seeing but think you shouldn't, the onus is on you to look away. And that is the modesty trap, when an issue you have is put on someone else to solve. And there is no winning. Setting aside the fact that it's up to all of us to treat everyone with basic respect, Sarah is walking down the street in a t-shirt and knee-length skirt. Well, Josh is thinking about her breasts, Joe is thinking about her butt, and Jason is thinking about the curve of her hips. How are we supposed to dress against every possible lustful thought someone can have, especially if, as Taylor says, men are designed to be visual? This is an extremely dangerous way of thinking. Not only does it put the locus of control on the person who does not have control, Sarah can't control these men's thoughts, but that is also how we get questions like, well, what was she wearing after an assault? And especially in certain groups, this line of thinking absolves men from their actions because, well, men are just visual creatures and she was wearing eye traps.
The Bible is also very clear that God's design was to have the man's wife be the only breasts that satisfy him, that the woman shouldn't look to satisfy every man with her breasts, but one man.
The Bible also says if your eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away.
So yes, here in America, you have the choice to wear whatever you want, but our choices and what we choose to wear still affects others. Even Paul reminds us, just because something is permissible doesn't mean it's beneficial, especially if it causes someone else to stumble. So even if I can wear something, if it's more comfortable to wear something, should I, knowing it might tempt or distract the men I interact with, husbands, fathers, co-workers, simply because I want to be a little more comfortable?
Women, how dare you think about your comfort? What about the men? Think of what they would have to endure if you didn't wear a bra one day. I mean, sure, you're still wearing a shirt, but no bra? However will they manage?
And look, I know this is a controversial topic, and based on the reactions I see of most girls when it comes to this topic, I can almost guarantee that my comment section is going to be a disagreement with this. But it's something heavy on my heart, and I don't feel it's a personal conviction. I feel that our breasts, as women, are intimate parts no matter what time we are living in. It doesn't change the fact that our breasts, our shape of our breasts, everything about them was designed for intimacy with me and one man.
I have to admit, this did surprise me. Can Taylor really think of no other use for breasts? Something besides being a plaything for intimate moments with a man?
And not to mention how it always just seems to come back to the 1960s. The dark, spiritual roots of the 1960s sexual liberation movement have grown into the culture we're seeing now. And the fruit is rotten. We have an entire generation of young girls laughing at their parents when they are told to put a bra on before leaving the house, mocking modesty, rejecting the idea that dignity could ever coexist with beauty. I hope more women wake up to see that the no bra movement isn't about patriarchal control or social pressure. It's about embracing shamelessness. The female body is beautiful, but it's far more captivating when it's thoughtfully and intentionally covered, when it's treated as sacred, not public property. It is far more rewarding and self-empowering to save what's intimate for one man, the man who gets the lifelong privilege of seeing and cherishing the body God created just for you. So maybe it's time to say yes to bras again, not out of guilt, but out of grace, dignity, and reverence.
So to recap, women need to wear bras because men are visual and they might start thinking thoughts, and God designed her body for intimacy between herself and one man. And somehow, not wearing a bra but still wearing a shirt means you're being intimate with anyone who sees you. But this isn't about patriarchy. Sure, Jan. This video really reminded me of when I was 14 and attending a parent-teacher meeting with my mom and 8th grade science teacher. There were rumors about this teacher and his students, but I was 14, I didn't really pay much attention. So we're sitting there, and I remember very clearly that I was wearing a loose t-shirt and jeans, and they're talking, and I stretched my arms above my head and yawned. And when we left the room, my mom lit into me about the rumors about that teacher, and how did I not know any better? And my reaction then, as it is today, is how am I responsible for what someone else does or thinks? And especially at the time, why are you putting the responsibility on a teenager for knowing better and not the grown-ass man? Taylor has a daughter. I really, really hope she thinks about this more, especially as she watches her daughter grow up. And that's it for this video. My socials and Patreon are linked below along with sources and resources. I would like to thank everyone for watching through to the end, and of course, I would like to give extra thanks to my patrons. Have a wonderful day. Wear a bra or don't, it really is up to you, and I'll see you in the next one.